His folks connect back in the building. And man, I got all the receipts on Ralo snitching situation. Ralo responds to the snitching situation at the time of him being locked up. The phone call with his homeboy to where he pretty much admitted to these things. But for some reason, it's a biased opinion towards Boosie when he speak out about certain things because he has touched a lot of subjects that rub people the wrong way. And there's no shade to Ralo, but it's just an eye-opener to people in the streets to understand that your best option is to just stay away from the streets. Ain't nothing wrong with staying on the sidewalk or sitting on the porch. Because when you get in front of the people and you faced with certain amounts of time, you sitting there because of things that you have done. So I ain't gonna hold y'all up and just look at the clips and y'all tell me how y'all feel about this.
I'm gonna get old one day. I ain't trying to be on stage like Boosie rapping when he 40, 50 years old. I ain't trying to be doing that. I want to pull up like Birdman with my artists up. Pull up like QCP with my artists up.
And one thing we know about Boosie, he had to respond. He wasn't gonna take that laying down. And his response was, I have not spoke on you in years at Ralo. You still hurt by what you did. What you did, LOL, I'm grateful that I'm still making $150K a weekend and selling out shows. You don't have a rap career and never will have one. And you right, you should be a CEO. Cause one thing you can't do is make music. God did not give you that talent. Hashtag leave hip hop alone. Every other month you mentioning me, shaking my head. Get me off your mind and stop using my name for clout. You got my line if you want to tell me something. I'm the same ninja, did a verse and video for free for you when you was locked up and refused to take the 10K you was trying to pay me. You get no points for S like this. Anyway, I'm about to listen to these beats, make some music. I just hope you're not doing the same. And see, now, next up, we got the clip of Ralo homeboy when he found out that Ralo sat down, took a proffer, and he communicated and he spoke with the prosecutors.
If the shit that y'all niggas condone in the streets is what's going on in the streets, I don't want to be there. Y'all vilify real niggas and y'all glorify suckers who portray to be real niggas. But anyway, man, peace and blessings to all. I'm gonna let Shouty do the talking.
It make me feel good just hearing your voice, bitch. I still love you. How the brother, huh?
Alhamdulillah. You know, I can't complain. I'm out here still deaning, still keeping it solid, you know.
I like that. You're supposed to forever do that, Shay. So, if I was to take acceptance of responsibility for the accusations that
hold on, let me stop you right there. It ain't an accusation. It's in black and white, bro. I'm reading your lawyer pleading on your behalf, trying to get this record sealed because of this information that you gave. It's you saying that you never said that you didn't do it, but you had me believing for 5 years that you kept it solid, dog. And in the paperwork, it say that in 2 months, y'all got locked up in April. In June 6th, you gave a proffer. And you gave up information. You gave them folk the code to your phone and let them review it in your presence. That's what the paperwork say.
I ain't opposed to that, Shay. Belong to him. The documents that you're seeing is from a prosecution misconduct hearing.
Okay, but so if you saying that you gave them just the phone information because you knew nothing was in the phone, what about this shit on page 12, line 12 and 13, where it say he is cooperating against heroin, methamphetamine, he knows about shootings, and the marijuana, where it say he is cooperating against heroin, methamphetamine, he knows about shootings, and the marijuana. That's what the transcript say.
Okay, I'm not opposition to that. Listen, when you go in there, they ask you other questions. I made my presentation. They started asking other questions.
You know the code though. That's what I'm saying. You know the code. You ain't supposed to have no meeting with them folks in the first place.
Queen, I was presented a situation that only reason why you know about this is because of the prosecution misconduct hearing. All these rap niggas pay that money to get out of jail.
But we ain't these rap niggas though.
Listen, please consider this. I got caught with this shit on the plane. Say, what the fuck you thought I was gonna do?
Take your lick. Like, shit, it's just some weed. Well, okay. Look, listen. Remember when before you got locked up, I used to always tell you, hey, don't do this. Hey, don't do that. Hey,
I agree with you, Shay.
And you used to tell me, it's just some weed. So if it's just some weed, why you ain't just go in there and chin up?
Guess what?
Man, this shit say, this is what Brian Steele say. He said, if it comes out on June 6, 2018 that Mr. Davis gave information, and it says, that's a lot of information on a lot of people that are well. It comes out on June 6, 2018 that Mr. Davis gave information, and it says, that's a lot of information on a lot of people that are well known in this community. That would not bode well for Mr. Davis or his security interests at all. Like, who they talking about though? They said well-known people in the community, like.
They talk about the people who. I had to make it look juicy for them.
And there go the facts. You know, Ralo talked to his homeboy who was highly disappointed in him for what he did, for speaking to the prosecution, for sitting down and cooperating. And at this point, we know Ralo paperwork is sealed. There's nothing you can find. But you gotta understand one thing. When you commit crime and when you get yourself involved in that street element, you gotta be willing to accept what come behind it. You can't make no excuse talking about what other rappers doing and this, that, and the other, because Ralo is a rapper, but Ralo really presents himself more as a person that's spiritual, or more of a person that care about and love his community. And that's one thing we can big up Ralo for. But in the same breath, I fought the people that's in Ralo's circle that's around him that got their hand out, because those are the people who not saying anything. And then we know from Boosie's point of view and the angle that Boosie come at this stuff from, that he's coming from a passionate level of how he felt about the streets, how he feel about if you willing and dealing in these streets. And at this point, we know Boosie pretty much is far removed from the streets, and that's where a lot of people disagree with him at, because the fact that Boosie trying to raise his family a certain way, he really a family man. But at the same time, a lot of times you can't forget where you came from, and the principle that you grew up on, and the principle that you were raised on. But when we see people like Ralo, see, that's the generation of people who feel like, you know, it's no problem with cooperating because they looking at money. They looking at everything in a financial aspect, because, you know, Ralo is doing some stand-up things in his community, and he deserves to be saluted for that, because you have a lot of people with money and influence that don't do nearly as much as Ralo do for his people. So I can see why they love him. But at the same time, you have to tell your people the truth. That's why I salute that guy who was on that phone call with Ralo, who brought it and presented it to Ralo that he was disappointed and he was hurt by that situation. And this guy pretty much removed himself from that street activity. And when you hear him speak, he let it be known that from what he's seeing in the streets, he disapproved and he's disappointed to see that the streets have come to this. But we all know that it's no honor whatsoever among thieves. So when you jump in that water, you gotta understand there's gonna be some people that rat, there's gonna be some people that stand up and do their time, and there's gonna be some people that do things that are unacceptable to people who feel as if they are street niggas. So my analysis on this situation is the best thing we can do is stay out the street, because ain't nothing wrong with sitting on the sidewalk. Ain't nothing wrong with staying on the porch and preserving your life, getting an education, and being able to compete in the real world. Because when you talking about the streets, it's a catch-22. You lose or you lose. Wake up, people.